Infantino is under investigation for corruption and calls for his resignation are growing. Breaking news, the European Parliament has requested an investigation into the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, for his management of the organization. Let's continue. The president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, has been reported to the International Olympic Committee for violating political neutrality due to his close ties with Donald Trump. We'll closely examine that since it's very serious. Urgent! The German Football Association has refused to sign a letter of support for Gianni Infantino to serve another term as FIFA president in the future. Guys, everything fell apart for this man, and we're going to see that this is just the tip of the iceberg because, as I told you, they're demanding his resignation. That's right, look. Breaking news, some members of the FIFA Executive Committee are demanding the resignation of President Gianni Infantino, and they're asking questions and preparing a lawsuit against him. This comes after revelations that FIFA allegedly manipulated the rules to favor a player and a country. Basically, the United States. Right? This is directly related to the famous red card that was waved off for a United States national team player. But be careful, I'm talking about the issue that they're demanding his resignation. But that's not all. There are a lot of things coming out. Even money laundering. They say. This is obviously for legal reasons. I have to say it. Apparently, FIFA allegedly laundered money with Chiqui Tapia. Chiqui Tapia leads the AIFA, Argentina's soccer federation. What the hell? We're going to take a close look at this because what's happening is incredible. And not only that, please pay attention. The ticket sales for the World Cup have been a disaster. FIFA withheld tickets to create an artificial shortage. They launched their own resale platform with a 15% fee for both buyers and sellers. And now there are still 180,000 tickets available for purchase. Well, that's what used to happen before, right? For now, it's known that FIFA has been giving away and gifting some tickets in the United States and selling others much cheaper at the last minute, right? That's known to have happened. Even so, the reality is that when it comes to attendance, in the end, with a few exceptions, some matches in Canada. The first match between South Korea and the Czech Republic. Aside from a few notable exceptions, the vast majority of the stadiums were full. That's the reality. But there's a very interesting detail when talking about the prices, so you can grasp the level of blatant robbery that happened in FIFA. Pay attention.
The match between the Banana Republic Mexican team and England was rated as the most expensive game in the history of sports.
This is no joke. The match between Mexico and England was the most expensive game in the entire history of sports. Guys, in sports. No, I'm not just talking about the history of Mexico. No, of all time. Incredible.
Incredible. That's if we consider ticket prices in relation to the size of the stadium. On the day of the match, the cheapest tickets cost 80,100 pesos each. Now, it's a stadium that has a capacity for 87,523 people.
Keep in mind, 80,100 pesos is a little over $4,000 for $4,500.
Just so you get an idea, the last match in Canada, which was actually Canada versus Morocco, the average price, keep in mind, not the most expensive one. The average was about 12,000 pesos. We can talk about gate receipts of between $90 and $150 million for the match at Azteca Stadium. Keep in mind, that's just from ticket sales. It doesn't include all the other spending.
Incredible. It's absolutely crazy. Just from ticket sales. It's incredible. Who would have thought that a match with Mexico would be the most expensive in the entire history of sports? Impressive. But watch out, guys. Let's see. Where do we even start with this? Global scandal. According to the newspaper La Nación, the FBI is investigating alleged financial operations of the AFA in the United States for possible money laundering. The European Parliament also called for an investigation into Gianni Infantino over his management and alleged refereeing decisions. To add to the AFA story, let's look at this news report. Before the 2026 World Cup, Mexico would have agreed to play a friendly match against Argentina for a $6 million deal, okay? The agreement collapsed after AFA officials asked the Mexican Federation to split the payments into 3 different bank accounts. This raised suspicions for the Mexican Football Federation, and they decided to stop negotiating because they considered it a suspicious operation. Look, real quick on this, I think all Argentinians, or at least the vast majority, know that there's something rotten, something that smells bad in the AFA. Especially with Chiqui Chiqui Tapia. The vast majority of Argentinians know it. And I think now, many of my Argentinian brothers can understand why the Argentinian national team played several friendly matches against rather unknown teams. Do you remember those friendly matches that the Argentinian national team has been playing in these last few months? Against Bikini Bottom almost? Well, it could be something like that. Keep a close eye on the whole Chiqui Chiqui Tapia situation. We'll see how this ends. But that's not all. And as I mentioned before, look, they don't want Infantino anymore. Germany has withdrawn its support for Gianni Infantino ahead of his possible re-election as FIFA president. The decision comes after the controversy over Balogun's red card, which was withdrawn at the request of Donald Trump. Look, when I saw that they withdrew this red card, I found it hard to understand. Totally inexplicable. Crazy. Guys, look, I get it, right? That the president of the host country calls you and says, "Hey, please, I don't think this was a red card." Of course, the president can say whatever he wants, but you, as FIFA, are not obligated to listen to him. You can say, "No, sorry, it goes against the rules. We can't take away that red card." End of story. But no. And Gianni Infantino was the bastard who took away the red card. And the question that many of you might be asking is why? I have my suspicions. I think I know why, because obviously Gianni Infantino is very interested, and apparently many sponsors, many investors are very interested in having the World Cups played much more frequently. In the United States, you heard that right, there is a lot of interest from FIFA. Let's see what will happen in the year 2030. As you know, in the year 2030, the World Cup will be played in Spain, Portugal and Morocco, with some special matches in Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay. Let's travel to the year 2034 Saudi Arabia. That's where the World Cup will be that year, but then we'll have to return to America. And where will the World Cup be played in 2038? Well, everything seems to indicate that it will be played in the United States. People are already starting to talk about the possibility of sharing some matches with Mexico again, because apparently it's going to be a World Cup with 64 teams. Be careful, Canada would definitely be out in that scenario. I mean, Canada would be left out, but apparently they want to have another World Cup in the United States. And not only that, but Constantino would be very interested in having World Cups played in the United States every 12 years, 16 years, very often. And they would almost always share it, apparently, with Mexico or some nearby country, especially because of the visa issue. You know that the United States has the visa issue. It really restricts access. They don't give a visa to just anyone. So, they need an alternate country for the rest of the fans to go to, and apparently that country could be Mexico. So, as you can see, there's a lot of money at stake, a lot of interests, many investors. So the situation is pretty interesting. And look, we all know that Gianni Infantino is corrupt. We all know it. Let's not beat around the bush. We all know the truth about this guy. Let's hope they investigate him and we'll see what happens with this character. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to know what you think and what your opinions are about all this. It's totally crazy. Wow, incredible. See you next time.